the camera back. Is my camera back? I think it is. Okay, that's good news. Yeah, bishop c4. Getting a lot of those today, and very few. Ruy Lopez as. Okay, I'm gonna try the system with h6. So a lot of people are playing these days. Point is to go for a quick g5, getting some space and potentially some attack as well. So knight d2. I feel as though this may be a bit inaccurate, since now I can just go g4. In case of knight h4, I think knight e4 can be played, and retreating the knight with knight g1 seems like a concession. And I might go h5 and then bishop h6 maybe. It seems like I've gained a bunch of space, and I can always castle queenside, so I'm not worried about potential king safety problems. I guess just bishop b6, not too worried about that exchange. Queen b3. Maybe I should have been worried. Okay. Just gonna give up the pawn on d7. And I'm moving the king there, since if I played queen d7, I would have had to spend time dealing with a threat to my rook on a8 after queen takes b7. So I prefer just connecting the rooks immediately. So rook g8, trying to get counterplay in that way. But like, objectively speaking, he's doing pretty well. But maybe I can show my attacking prowess in this game. At least that's what I'm hoping. If such prowess does indeed exist. Yeah, knight c4 is pretty logical. I'm going to take an f3. So I can c1. And I guess go knight h7, preparing queen h4, and then knight g5, rook g2. A lot of things can happen. Also, I'm keeping in mind the option of playing rook g2. Yeah, I think rook g2 is okay. Also keeping in mind the option of playing rook b8 at some point. Since then, the attack on b2 could be a serious issue. Let's say he goes rook g1 as he does, rook b8. If he does go queen a6 as he probably should, then I can check on g5. And knight e3, which normally would be a very strong move here, is not possible because of rook takes b2. With jack and winning the game. So king d1 is much better, obviously. And now it's completely clear what I have. Maybe this guy is a future GM. Oh, I was gonna put the rook on f8. And then for some reason my hand put it on g8 instead. This just loses immediately to takes and then rook g1. That's a shame. I'm gonna have to go into serious swindle mode. So he's also, the problem is that he's also threatening queen b5 followed by knight a5, so I really have to scramble just to stay alive at all. King b3, desperately trying to hang on. Knight a5, knight e7. Yeah, d4. d4 I wasn't that worried about. Now I can go rook d2, preventing his threat, which was to go d5. Now I'm at least winning a pawn back, so I'm getting some more hope. King c3 I think is not a great move. Or rook d4 if he wants to play an ending with equal material, be my guest. I would be very happy with that. And otherwise I've won a pawn pretty cleanly, which seriously improves my chances of getting something from this game. Should probably go like queen c2, queen a3 maybe. Queen b5 you can also do. Yeah, queen b3 I'm not sure that I like, since I get a tempo with rook b4. Queen a3. Yeah, it seems a bit strange. Why wouldn't you go there immediately? I'm going rook b5, forcing him to make a decision. Now he's exchanged. Now my position is very safe. Still worse, obviously, since I'm queen down, but it's pretty. My king is pretty safe. It's always going to be protected by a knight, and there are not too many points in my position which he can attack, and that makes me pretty optimistic about the future. So the point of a5 is that in case of rook g2, you could have gone b4. So I just wanted to prevent that. So now I'm going rook g2, going after the pawn. After the h4, I'm going e5, trying to get knight d4. He can give a couple of checks, but I'm not too worried about that. King goes to b6, and the knight has taken away all the squares from which the queen can check. And now he's also running seriously low on time. Yeah, I guess I'm going to give a check now. Here, f4 is a good try. It's a good move, obviously. After this one, guess rook g4. Can I go rook e4, queen d5, knight f3 check, or I can go rook e2 actually. So I can go rook e4. Always a good idea also to try and complicate things when they're so short on time. Okay, I didn't see king b3 at all. That's a shame. But at least I go knight c6 and my king is very safe. Okay, but my opponent played extremely well for being 1800, I have to say. So kudos, excellent game. So I'm gonna try another 5-minute game. It's Henry 0813 from Ireland. It's gonna be interesting. Yeah, I'm running all low on energy, so I'm gonna have this will carry you. Don't try that at home. Since I'm inspired by Chigurip today, I'm going to play Chigurip. I did try that a couple of times in tournament games. It's Kramnik and Bishop, but with very limited success. So this one, I don't know. Doesn't it just drop a pot? I don't think you can play like this. Yeah, now I'm just a pawn up with a good position. Has to go bishop d2, but this is pretty much as comfortable an extra pawn as you can get. Knight f5, hitting at knight f4. Sorry, knight h4. And although Tigran did really like knights, I think still gonna exchange this one. Just keep it simple. Nice extra pawns and not a single weak square in my position. Knight on f6, of course, is hanging, but going to rectify that by going bishop e7, knight d5 on the next move. Yeah, knight e4 is not a bad try. Could go knight d5, could also take. Guess I'm just going to go knight d5. Knight g5 and rook d7 is a perfectly viable response. Protecting everything. Yeah, e4, but this is just weakening actually. I go bishop b4 check. Sorry, knight b4, then take with the bishop. And I think he has achieved nothing except weakening his position. You probably should take and then go f4 now. Because after what he did, now bishop f4, bishop e5 is coming in. His dark squares are pretty weak. Maybe I should actually go on bishop c5 there. Intending rook d8. It's getting a bit carried away by those dark squares there. So I went at h6, now knight h3, and then g5, but I think he can reroute the knight to e2, and that's not a disaster for him. Yeah, knight g1, pretty logical. Knight e2 is coming next. Most likely, if h4, I'm just going to take it. That would give up some dark square control, but it would give me another extra pawn. So I feel like that would be a decent triangle for me. Takes. Now bishop b2 is a threat. And then rook d2 in case he takes it. So we should do something like knight c1 maybe, or b3. But it's all very, very difficult for him. Yeah. I'm just going to take that one. I could also take on b2. I'm just going to take it. And okay, let me just do this for fun. I know bishop b2 loses a piece since he can insert a check on g8, but I think in that case, I just have too many pawns. That's the point. I go h2, then c5. I'm gonna create another passer on the queen side pretty soon, and his king simply cannot deal with everything, and his knight is just stuck. I'm just gonna go h5, h4, force his knight into the corner, and then f5, try and open up the center. And this is just completely lost for him. You could have gone king c4, try and set up a barrier there, but I would just have sacrificed one of the pawns to get to the unlucky knight on h4, h1 with the king. And, he might as well resign at this point. Okay. Feels like each time I'm finding a challenge I want to accept, then it's dropping because there are so many new challenges coming. So it's hard to find. Okay, let me try this one. The Unknown One. Another 5-minute game. Never played Albion Rules from Belgium. Don't really know that name. Never played this one before. Another c5. Okay, knight f3. d6. Let's play the open Sicilian again. Get a knight orphan. Let's go rook g1. Inspired by the great Jordan van Vreest, who was obviously helped by my compatriot Johann Sebastian. So what I'm doing now is more of an homage to Johann Sebastian than Jordan. And if you do want to see Johann Sebastian play, he's gonna play on Offerspiel, my club's Twitch channel, starting pretty much. I think it's probably already started. It's gonna play some bullets. So after I'm done, you might wanna check that out if you have the time. One of the many young talented Norwegians. So don't really know what's going on here. I'm just making notes. Bishop g2 seems reasonable. Obviously the rook on g1 is pretty ridiculous in most of these lines, but that's the way it is. When you go for the early rook g1, you have to live with the consequences, huh? Yeah, let me just go g5. Knight d7, quite sensible. Queen h5, probably for no reason whatsoever. I'm threatening knight a6 though, and trying to spook him from castling. So I am definitely considering long castles myself here. Then queen a2, nah, it doesn't work. So I thought anyway, worst case, I can just drop the queen back and then I can gain tempo by playing either f4 or bishop f4 later on. So I don't really feel like the knight is too great on e5. Yeah, I don't really think you can support it. Maybe queen c7 if the then bishop f4 he has knight d3. Queen a4 I don't really get. What's the point of that? Well, he's trying to prevent queenside castling, that's the point, but he can't go knight c4 because of b3, so he has to go something like knight g6 now. Maybe I can just go bishop e4, preparing bishop c2, and then later on I will be able to castle. Maybe this was actually a bit too slow. Don't know. Yeah, still kind of castle. Okay, let me go for an attack then. Positionally, I'm still doing pretty okay, so I'm not too worried. Rook g3 now. You can go e5. E5, I'm probably just going to go f5. Yeah, why not? Well, let me see. This is quite interesting. Okay, I'm checking it out. I'm actually checking it out. Just taking an e5. Bishop e5. I'm going to castle instead. Not too worried about the pawn on a2, since I'm going to get the tempo with bishop b3 at some point, and also I'm not worried about the rook on g3, since then I'm going to take back, get rook h1 later on with some attack. And I did say that I was going to play more enterprisingly, so I'm not sure this all works, but at least I'm trying. So he takes, guess bishop b3. Don't have anything concrete though. Yeah, that's a good inclusion, giving a check. Yeah, this didn't really work out, what I'm doing here. Yeah, it didn't work out at all. Okay, I'm gonna have to try and hustle him now. My position is probably lost now. You can take on d4 and then go bishop f5, and I'm in a world of trouble, since my king cannot hide. Maybe I'm gonna go bishop d4, rook f1, try and muddy the waters. That's what I would have done. Bishop e3, rook f7, and I cannot see why that doesn't work immediately, so maybe it does work. Queen c7 is just, yeah, that just misses the mark completely. So it's now I'm in time with rook f7, and I just got a winning position. That was very strange. Queen c7 didn't make any sense. Probably thought f7 was protected somehow, but clearly it's not, so that's a problem for him. Rook f7, don't think he really has a choice except giving up the queen with queen f7, but then I'm obviously doing great. Queen f3, yeah, okay. Just that's exactly like the check on f5 that I wanted to prevent by going queen f3 first, but he had pretty good bishop f5. Then getting another bishop, and then I'll be a rook up and winning the game pretty easily. Okay. By the way, I want you to challenge me to rated games. I saw there was a grandmaster there who challenged me to an unrated game, and I don't think that makes any sense. Like, if you want to protect your rating, that's okay. I don't want to protect mine particularly, so I don't care. Let's play rating. So this is a rated game, and I'm playing Nihal Sarin, extremely talented young player. He's already 26 plus, with a lot of potential, and at 15 years old, he appeared on to candidate broadcasts a couple of times at the start, and it's a very strong player. But is he here? That's the question. With all that talent, he still gotta show up to the game. So I'm gonna abort this one pretty soon. Okay. Sorry, dude. You gotta be prepared. Let me see. We got ourselves another 5-minute game here. Double. Let's see. Somebody's got to show up at some point, right? They cannot all be gone. Like, am I boring you so much that you can't even stay and watch the show while you're waiting for your challenge? That doesn't seem very likely to me. Come on. Finally, my opponent showed up when I got up from the chair. That was so rude. Okay. Everybody's going knight f6 and not letting me play the Evans coming up. That's a shame. So we got the 3 knights is cool though. But it's a bit boring, comparatively speaking. Just thinking for a bit. Yeah, bishop d7 is also a move there, but c6 is by far the most played. I'm going to try knight h3 again, like Steinitz was doing. And also Fischer. Fischer tried it, I think, once in the US Championship. Maybe he tried it a couple of times. Oh, I went like knight g1 in the other game before castle. Maybe what you're supposed to do is go castle and then king h1 and then knight g1. Maybe that's the point. Spending a lot of time here, so I'm gonna have another bite to eat. Yeah, bishop c5. It's all very logical. Queen d4, I don't wish the castle. I feel as though my king is always going to be pretty safe here. I kind of go like d3, queen h4, I got bishop f3, and feels like my king is pretty safe. I can also protect the pawn with king d2. What is best is hard to say. Yeah, what I'm going to try and play a bit concretely. Maybe that's a very bad idea. I was thinking of bishop f3, then if queen h3, then a3. And b4 is a huge threat, but maybe that's a really bad idea because of h5 and then knight g4 is a massive threat. Actually, a threatening mate, which is obviously a lot more important than a nice threat of winning a piece. So, yes, I'm gonna be a bit more careful. My king is pretty safe now, in the absence of his light square bishop. My his knight on a5 is pretty awful, and I feel like I'm consolidating. Now I'm threatening f4, forcing the exchange of queens. So it's all pretty good. Also, iron the knight in a5 in some lines. It's another perk of playing queen e1. Another of the ideas. It's maybe a better word. E4 is quite logical. I can go f4 now, forcing the f3 followed by queen somewhere if he wants to avoid the exchange. Also, I can take an e4. I feel like f4 is pretty good. Take it, take it. Now I'm just gonna exchange some pieces. It's starting to look a bit similar to another game we had earlier today where I did play the two knights, same system, and I just ended up with a pretty clean extra pawn. So rook e8 was not a great move there, since it allows bishop d2, unpinning the rook on e1, and also forcing some exchanges. But regardless of what he'd done, he probably would have been in pretty bad shape. And now I'm just 2 pawns. Pawn up. It's not a full pawn, you might say, because of the double H pawns. Would have been interesting there if he'd gone c5, then I would have bishop f2, if cb, then c5, and if knight b7 immediately, then bishop e4, forcing the win of the pawn. He didn't go for that, bishop d4 instead, but still I go c5, and my queenside majority is so strong that the game is over now, or at least pretty much over. So what should I do? Bishop e4. I guess I'm just gonna go bishop a6 instead, and then bring the king in. Bishop g1. I'm gonna go bishop g3 followed by f5, and then my bishops will both be very, very strong. Bishop c8 now, preventing king d7 in all lines. a5, I can give a check and then check on a5, and that pawn is going to be queening very, very soon. Okay, good game, but finally, with the two bishops, it was pretty easy for me, but also I think quite instructive at some point. So I tried to accept a challenge from pretty strong grandmaster here, a 3-minute game, but I don't know if I was successful. I tried to click accept, but I don't know what happened, why the game has not started. Don't know what that is all about. Maybe the challenge disappeared. Trying to find it. Nihal Sarens is challenging me again, so after I aborted the last one, then I'm gonna try another one. Let's see if he's here now. If he's still not here, okay, he's here. Good job, Nihal. So he is going to be faced with the Evans Gambit. Let's see if he knows more about it than I do. So he's going for the same line, huh? Yeah, that's dull. I just don't know what to do here. How do I even get an interesting game here? Okay, I'm gonna try and take on d6. Queen b5, he has to take on c4. So I'm relying on that he has to take back with the pawn on d6 after I've taken on. I think he's got to trade on c4. It's the only thing that makes sense, right? Yeah, I think he's got to do that. So I'm relying on that. After he goes cd, then I can go castles, then bishop a3, and hopefully that would give me some pressure. I'm sure he can give back the pawn in various ways here. Probably this one is not the greatest though. You can go rook d8 now, but yeah, I can do this as well, but this extra pawn does count for something, I think. Knight g6 is pretty tricky, but is it any good? The point is bishop f8, then he has knight f4, and if queen f4 and knight h3, so I cannot do that, so I'm gonna go h3 instead. Really don't want to allow this take on f8 and knight f4 business. Yeah, let's say if queen f1, there's knight h3, gh, bishop h3, and what do I do? If I move the queen, then queen g4 is going to be mate. Okay, I don't see anything there, so just going to go bishop, knight t2. But now he clearly has quite a lot of compensation. Knight f1 now. I think he's quite well prepared to meet. I'm quite well prepared to meet rook d6, knight f4, then queen d1. That's not dangerous. Probably should go knight h4 now. Then I'm gonna go knight d4 probably. Trying to exchange the queens, and I think he's probably quite fine there, but that's at least a position that I can play. And if he doesn't do that, yeah, he goes for this. Queen d1, I guess, and I think he's gonna go bishop h3. I don't really see it. I don't think this really works for him. Bishop h3, then knight g3. If queen g4, then I take on b6. If he takes on g2, yeah, if he takes on g2, I have rook d6, threatening mate. And then I can save the knight later on with a winning position. But yeah, he does that, but I think this is just lost. Yeah, okay, this, rook d8, getting even more time. But here he's just completely busted, I think. We can give a check. Knight e5. Just knight h2 maybe. This is simpler. He has no threats. I'm threatening queen d8, exchanging queens. Okay, now it's about just wrapping up and not losing any time, but I have a lot more time than he has, so I wouldn't be too worried. The moves that I'm playing are not particularly great, I feel, but it doesn't really matter. Okay, I'm going to do this one. Okay, I'm going to take that knight. He's really playing a lot faster than I thought. Okay, now we were just a very few moves away from knight, since I would have had knight f3 next and then g1. Okay. Let me see. What do we got here? So I gotta repeat, a lot of non-premium members challenging, but you gotta go premium before you challenge. Otherwise, your challenge will not be accepted. So we got another Grandmaster, Velja Ivic. Don't know too much about him. I know that he's a Grandmaster. Probably 02 is his birth year. Who knows, huh? We got the Sicilian again. I'm gonna try bishop b5 this time. Take on c6, I guess. What should people do? d4. Had some fun with this as black against Maxim in the Siegfried Cup, and also I didn't have a lot of fun against Vichy, also in the Siegfried Cup. So here he goes queen c5. I guess I should castle. This is what I did, right? And then I went f6. I think that's what I did against Vichy the first time. Oh, he goes a5. I think that was recommended somewhere. Let me try rook b1. Next, probably b3, bishop b2. Basically, I'm just waiting for knight f6, and then I want to go e5. I'm claiming that this structure is a bit better for me. You could have gone bishop f5 over there, so I think I've set up a bit clumsily. But now that I didn't, I'm pretty happy. And certainly a5 is a good move, and it's a big improvement on not having a pawn on a5 in these lines. A detail which I didn't really appreciate during my game against Alan, but I think white is still definitely fighting for something here. Can I go queen f3, a4, knight c6? There's bishop g4, maybe knight e7, queen h8. Oh, I just unplugged the camera by mistake. Somehow the mouse keeps on dying. Don't know what that is happening. Anyway, it's back now. Yeah, queen c7 is very logical. I guess I'm just gonna go a4 now. Try and gain some control of the queen side. Bishop f5, going queen c4. He did have knight d7 instead, which might have been decent. Bishop f4, don't know what would happen. Also knight g4, then bishop f4. Now I'm probably intending knight d4 next, and also c6 is attacked. Okay. Knight d5, now I gotta take on c6, right? If he goes rook c8. Maybe that's actually pretty good for him. So what should I do then? Rook on b1 is just so moronic. Okay, rook knight 3. No, I don't like my position so much anymore. I want to go knight d4 next. might solve some problems. If he doesn't allow it, quite sensibly, bishop d2, at least trying to get some counterplay against a5. Some lines. I think we both got to play faster. From here on out, we pretty much got a bullet game. Okay, rook c1, just protecting c2, trying to free up the queen. e5, a4, I'm always going knight d4. He's getting seriously short on time now. h3, h6, then just h3 myself. Okay, knight d4. He flinched, didn't know what to do. Knight c5, he got knight. Not so easy. Yeah, knight b6 after knight c5, so that's fine. Oh, I didn't see that a4 is hanging. That's a bummer. Gotta protect c. Okay, so now my position is pretty bad, but I gotta try and flag him somehow. Take it. Queen takes knight b5, trying to confuse him. Queen e7 is good. Yeah, I don't know. Knight c4, trying to exchange. He naturally doesn't want the exchange. Now we're taking e5. This is all not great. Okay, bishop c1. Trying to wriggle out somehow. My position is pretty awful. Okay. Trying to exchange. I'm getting to exchange a few pieces. I'm going to flag him and win on position. So that's all. Much to do about nothing at this point. Okay, that was very, very messy. And he definitely outplayed me. But we're playing blitz without increment, and then you gotta play fast and also well. Okay, so I'm gonna go for 2 more games. 2 more 3-minute games, and then I'm done. SB Rain. I think I played this person before. Probably not. It doesn't seem like it. Okay. Finally, oh, takes it c6. That's dumb. Okay, I'm gonna go bc. Trying to play in the style of some old masters, just setting up a solid center and then hoping that's going to lead to something good. At least my opponent seems to be pretty unfamiliar with it. Should I do now? Catch b6 maybe? I haven't really made up my mind what I'm going to do after f4. Whether I'm going to take on f4 or just go or go e4. Those are probably. I guess I'm taking f4. If he goes bishop f4, I can probably go g5. And if he goes rook f4 with the point of g5, and then, yeah, then if g5, he would have had taken. He could have taken on f6, attacking the bishop. Then I still want to go g5. Yeah, gonna do that. Why the hell not? Show me the money. I could just have taken on c6 and then he probably couldn't go wrong. Probably couldn't take enough f4 because of g5, but I like this. Just taking chances for no reason. It's absolutely my style. At least now my knight is pretty good on e5, solidifying everything, and I got c6 next. So I'm not too worried. This one I don't think really works out well for him. Now I've eliminated one of his dangerous knights. Although the knight on f5 is still pretty good, then all of my pieces are kind of good now as well. And of course, when we do exchange, yeah, he got knight e3. I missed that. Just as I was talking, then I saw this. That's a pity. Should I do now? Okay. It's castle. Let's play for an attack. I have got the two bishops after all. Bishop d2 is prevented, so he does have some problems with development. This one I don't get at all. Can't I just take it? Then bishop c5? No, this was a really bad plan. Rook e1, I got rook d2. Also I got rook f8. Yeah, rook f8 feels better. If he takes, bishop e5, rook f3 wins. But anyway, rook f3 is going to come, and that's going to be pretty much an eternal pin. He can never escape with the king, really. He can go h3, and then if I take, he can go... Now that I got g4, he doesn't even have that option. Now I'm just going to... I have all the time in the world to decide how I'm going to win. Okay. So that was the penultimate game. So now I'm going to get last games. This one is what I tried to accept earlier on from Grandmaster Bluebaum, who lost to Perusha, and and apparently my camera is off. Or is there's just a general problem with the USBs on my computer? Okay, I gotta play. Now 3. The queen isn't that ridiculous on e2, considering that he can go to f2 later on, but obviously if you had this position, then queen e2 is not the most useful move imaginable. I guess I'm gonna go g4 at some point. Can we get the video back for the last few minutes? That's the question. Can we? Looks like we can. And I got the mouse back as well. Good news just keeps on coming. Should I do now? GF, I guess. Yeah, both recaptures were pretty reasonable for him. Want to bring the knight around to g3 and maybe go c3 at some point to alleviate any pressure he might have on the long diagonal. It's all pretty much trench warfare at this point. DE, I'm not sure. FE, I'm not sure why he releases the tension there. Feel like there was no reason to do that immediately. Okay, I can go C3 now. Probably go 90. Go. Oh my god! I just blundered this. Ugh. That's nothing short of embarrassing. Maybe I'm getting some counterplay just by luck. No G5. I think the position is still not easy. It's not obvious that he's even better here. But clearly that was just a blunder. There's no disguising that fact. But at least now I get to play some real attacking chess. I got no choice. I mean, I gotta try and attack now, pawn down, and without the bishop here. And he quite sensibly decides that he doesn't want. Yeah, he wanted just to sack the exchange after knight f7, takes knight e5, and he would have been in control. So I don't want to do that. I want to try and keep the initiatives now. I think he can go queen e7 exactly. Knight f7 followed by queen d5. Then he has bishop e6 winning, and he would be doing pretty well. So what can I actually do here? I guess the answer is not that much. Should play fast at the very least. Yeah, let me try and confuse him. Bishop e6, I'm gonna go knight f5. He just goes queen d7, quite sensibly. I'm gonna still try and confuse him with queen g5. He does not flinch, but now I win the pawn on c5, so I should be doing excellently now. Queen b5, bishop b2. I feel like I'm pretty safe. Queen goes back to e3. Queen to d4 maybe. Knight to f1. Queen e3. Knight d2. It's all very, very safe. Check. Oh, I shouldn't have allowed that check. Oof. That was uncalled for. No, I pre-moved. I thought I pre-moved queen f6 before I took. Okay. That was very chaotic, and I feel like